Coach, you've got the microphones on each side of the room. Please raise your hand. We'll go right here in the front. Tim on 2. Third seat.
Tim Cato with The Athletic. Jason, you had talked after Game 2 about Dante Exum and what you thought he brought to that game. I was curious from his short stint in Game 3 what you saw that caused you to end up going away from him in the rotation.
Yeah, I thought Exum did great. We probably look back at it, we could have probably got him in there a little bit more. But we went with the other guys. We were looking for someone who was, to be able to knock down an open shot. We had good looks that just didn't go down for us. I thought Exum's pace, his ability to get the ball into the paint for those 3 minutes was good, and so hopefully we can get him in the game in Game 4.
Joe here in the front.
Joe Varn, The Athletic. I guess expanding on that, down as you are, do you have to consider lineup changes, and is there something personnel-wise you think you can do to change the momentum in the series?
Well, I think we played 11 yesterday, so everybody's on deck. Everybody has to be ready to play. No lineup changes here today, but we'll see what tomorrow brings.
Ramona, over here.
Hi, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. Jason, you and I have talked all about how competitive Luka Doncic is and how much he wants to be great. A lot of times great players get to the finals, especially their first one, and the other team throws, they find a weakness, they find whatever it is, and they try to expose that, like LeBron and the Spurs or whatever it is. How much do you tell Luka about that kind of journey for a great player and the challenge he's facing ahead?
Yeah, I think, the history's there for us to learn from. When you look at great players and the struggles, you look at MJ and the struggles that he had against Detroit. You look at, some Magic Johnson struggles. You look at LeBron's first time around. And so it's there to learn from. But as the great ones, they use that going into the next season or the next couple seasons to try to get back there, because now they understand experience is a big thing. When you look at the Celtics, they lose to the Warriors 2 years ago. They lose to Miami in Game 7. And so just experience of understanding that you're not, promised to get back, that you got to work. And you see the group that is out there today, they know how to play. They're a really good team, and they put a lot of pressure on your defense, transition, rotations. And so for great players, you have to fail to understand, how to be successful at the highest stage, and this is the highest level, is being in the finals.
Tim, all the way in the back, right?
Jason, Tim Reynolds with the AP. Everyone knows what the numbers, the stats say, that your odds are nil to do this. How do you block all that out? How do you tell your guys, just play tomorrow, just win a game tomorrow and see what happens? How do you keep them in that mindset and not look at how daunting a 3-0 deficit looks on paper?
Yeah, I think you talk about playing Game 4. That's it. I thought yesterday we got off to a really good start, and hopefully we can do that again tomorrow. You look at the end of quarters, the end of the first in Game 2, and also here in Game 3, we have to be better. And so, again, just taking one possession at a time, controlling what you can control, your effort and energy, and just winning the minutes when you're out there. And that's all we talked about today, and that's what we'll talk about tomorrow.
All the way in the center.
Skyler Dixon with the AP. Jason, you've talked a lot since you've been here about just wanting Luka kind of engaged and active on defense. Did you see any slippage in that last night with a chance to look at it more, or the Celtics just really good at attacking him, and what maybe needs to change a little bit on that front for him? Yeah,
I think I think Luka's doing in this playoff series. When you talk about from the Clippers to today, his defense has improved. But when you look at being involved in every pick and roll, there's going to be mistakes that take place. That's just the game of basketball, and we just got to limit those mistakes. But he is involved in every possession, and that's what the Celtics are very good at, doing is making sure when they go hunting, they get the guy that they want. And so for us, we got to do a better job of protecting Luka.
Tim, last question here before Luka comes up.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Did you guys do anything on the court today, and what was the emphasis of whatever work you did do?
It was just film. Both offense and defense, the good things that we did, and then also the things that we got to improve on.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
First question, right here in the front.
What's up, Luka? Brandon from the Warriors. Obviously, big fan of your game, someone who I look up to and model my game after. And some that I kind of stood out to me is, obviously they're making you play a lot of isolation ball. And you do a really good job of, using your off arm to, get by people. But I also think you're really good at, creating an advantage and keeping an advantage. And you're really good at, keeping guys on your hip. And it makes the help defender kind of have to pick and choose what they give up. Just want to learn, just want to ask, where you kind of got that from and what's your thought process once you beat your initial defender?
I mean, first, I think I just look at how long the guys have been in the paint, the low man. If it's time, it's like 2 seconds, he's going to go out, and that I think that's the moment to attack. And then I'm just trying to read the game. If he comes, there's going to be a lob open in the corner. If he don't, I just take the layup.
Jared, standing here on the left.
Hey, Luka, to your left. Jared Greenberg, NBA TV. After Game 5 in the OKC series, you told me that you got back to playing for the love of the game. You remembered that. Do you sometimes feel in this series you were getting away from that when you're talking to the referees? And
I mean, yeah, at some point, yeah. I just really want to win. Sometimes I don't show it the right way, but at the end of the day, I really want to win. So I got to do a better job, showing a different way.
How can you do that Game 4 with your season on the line?
Go back to playing fun. We talk about how we come back from 20 points in the fourth quarter in the finals. We were having fun. We were defending. We were running. Our pace was great, and just taking good shots.
Right side on the aisle, about 6 rows back.
Kevin Gray, Mavericks Radio Network. Luka, when you're in the midst of these games and you're having these conversations with officials, how do you change your approach in terms of these conversations to ensure that not only you're staying locked in, but also continuing to help your team stay locked in, even when things aren't going necessarily your way at times during these games?
Just got to go away, because at the end of the day, Rev's going to have the last word. So just got to go away from that.
Left side on the aisle, 6 rows back.
Luka, Tadej Alam pred Pop TV. Vemo, da je vsa zgodovina proti vam, da še nihče ni nadoknadil 3-0. Kako ohranjate upanje, da tega finala še ni konec in vzdušje v moštvu?
Vzdušje je v redu. Skupaj smo. Vemo, da to lahko naredimo. Vemo, da imamo potencial. Treba kakšne detalje res boljš odreagirati na kakšne detalje. Ampak mi verjamemo. Nikoli še ni bilo, ampak mi verjamemo, da lahko.
Ramona, over here on the left.
Luka, Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. How much have you studied other great players when they got to their first finals, whether it's Michael in his first finals, or Magic, or LeBron with the Spurs, and sort of what defenses try to do to them and exploit with them, and compare it to what Boston's trying to do here?
I didn't really study, the first finals of some people. Obviously they were great players. There's a story of MJ against Detroit. That was the big thing. But I think he just learned from it. It's a great experience. You gotta go through lows first to go on top. So I think that's a great experience.
Last row, back right.
Luka, how do you guys keep any real sense of, how do you guys keep any real sense of belief, knowing that the odds say that this is too tough a mountain to climb out of? How do you keep believing that you can do this?
Just like we did before. Like I always talk, in the regular season, there was a time we were at our very low. I think we lost 5-6 in a row. And then from there, we just went up. I think we went 17-2. to get into playoffs. I know that's regular season, but it was a kind of point we all came together. The chemistry from there went to the top, and we're just gonna believe. We talk about it in the locker room, and I know we can do it, and we're gonna believe till the end.
Tim, here on the left.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. The Celtics obviously going to make you work as hard as they can defensively. What's unique about the challenges they present while doing that? You know, it's not like they're the first team to do it, but what's unique about them, and how do you think you've held up to those challenges?
I mean, they have great players. Basically, all 5 players that are on the floor, they can really score. They can shoot. So our point, our strategy was just trying to make him drive more, and then be on the wheel, on the rotations. I think I have to do a better job on that, just keeping him front.
About 6 rows back towards the center.
Luka Šucin, Arena Sport. Luka, Jason Kidd je znan kot trener, ki išče prilagoditve in jih ponavadi tudi najde. Zaenkrat v 3 tekmah ni bilo videti, da so te prilagoditve uspešne. Kako bi se vi kot ekipa in ti kot posameznik prilagodil za 4. tekmo?
Mislim, da je to bolj vprašanje za trenerja, zato je on trener. Ampak, kakor bi rekel, naša obramba proti Bostonu smo naredili tako, da ko igrajo v isolation, da grejo noter v prodor. Mislim, da moramo to malo spremeniti in ne glih jih pustiti, da grejo mimo nas vsakič.
On your left, second row.
Mike Leslie, WFA. Luka, we've seen you elevate your game throughout this playoff run in its entirety, but in this series in particular, are there things about your game, a hole here or two, that here or there, that you can identify, that you feel like, hey, that's something I want to focus on in the off season to improve myself just that much more?
Definitely a lot of holes, I think, still. 25, got a lot of ways to learn, a lot of things to learn. This is my first semifinals, so I'm going to learn from it for sure. But we're not in off season yet. They still got to win one more game. Like I said, we're going to believe till the end.
Third row on the left.
Ciao Luca, Valeria Rubino, BBC Todo Deporte. Kyrie said that pressure makes diamonds. How do you turn fear and anxiety into motivation and strength to be the leader you want to be for this team?
Just keeping the team together. Like I said, we have great guys. We all know what we came here to do. Obviously, we're going against the best team in the NBA, but we're going to believe. It's first to fourth, so we're going to still believe, and that's our motivation.
Last question in the center, about 6 rows back.
Tilen, tukaj je Arena Sport Slovenija. Luka, zdaj ste v karieri vedno našli rešitev proti vsakemu tekmecu, napredovali iz tekme v tekmo tudi v teh serijah, ki so se zgodile v tej končnici. Kaj je pri Bostonu drugačnega zaenkrat, da te rešitve, ki bi prinesla zmago, še ni bilo? Tudi v končni fazi vsaka tekma je ena slaba četrtina vam je odnesla zmago. Ne? Kaj se zgodi v tej četrtini?
Mislim, da malo popustimo, malo se, ko bi rekel, sprostimo. Tako da moramo, tekma je 48 minut, vsak napad, vsaka obramba je pomembna, tako da moramo to razumeti.
Thank you, Luka. All right, we'll take questions for Kyrie.
We were just here 15 hours ago.
Over here on the left, third row.
Hi, Kyrie. Valeria Rubino, Todo Deporte and BBC. You said that basketball has been a great teacher for you, but life has been a better one. What have you learned in these past few years that is allowing you to have the right mindset to face difficult situations and challenges?
That's a great question. Try to be simple, not as long-winded. Goodness, I think life is a incredible gift that we can't take for granted. If you've ever lost somebody close to you, that'll remind you really quick on how precious life is. I've had to deal with a ton of loss in my life, just watching people that I love kind of leave this earth. That was difficult to deal with as a young person, and then getting older and trying to deal with the perspective of being a celebrity or famous person or professional basketball player, whatever it is, an entertainer, whatever we're called, and trying to find purpose in that, and why am I here? So just I think all in all, I've just learned how to not put so much pressure on myself, put things in perspective, and understand that I'm not alone, and I'm still a young person in this world trying to figure it out, and I'm not supposed to have it all figured out. I think that's the beauty too. So just embracing the moments that I get to share with the people that care about me unconditionally, get to know some new people in this world, go from strangers to friends, get to know my kids most importantly, and who I want to become for them, and my wife, and being a husband, and just appreciating the gifts that I've had to earn and work for and build. So that's what helps me put all this in perspective of just the past few years of learning how to deal with real human emotions and not gloss over them and pretend like life is all good. That's it. Just being real with myself, like looking in the mirror and being real. I think if you can be honest with yourself, then the world is your canvas.
On your right, second row.
By Manning, CLNS Media. Kyrie, how special is Boston's ability to guard one-on-one, not bring help, and just try to, stay in front of guys individually? Brown and Tatum's ability to do that. How have you and Luka kind of dealt with some of the frustrations of trying to beat that, in this series?
Yeah, very special, to watch from afar, but also as a competitor, as a hooper, to be experiencing at this level is an incredible teacher for me. I use it as a moment to learn, how hard it is to win, especially against a great team that's going to guard you the way that they're guarding us. And the frustration is natural just because you want to make every shot when you're in the finals. You don't want to miss. You don't want to not play well. So you give partial credit to them, but also there's a focus and a preparation you have to have. And obviously hindsight is 20/20, but looking at the first two games and how, some of my shots were a little bit pressured more than I have had in other series, and the physicality is a little bit different. And, these guys on that Boston squad know my game as well. They know it well. So they've been able to scheme for me for the past few years. So getting over this hump is something that's been on my mind for a while. Watching them, just like everyone's been watching Boston the whole entire year, be the best team in the league. We obviously knew we would have our challenges, but this is what helps us grow. So, going out there and competing with the best of the best, going against Drew and Jalen and JT, and seeing their ability to cover up some of their mistakes or, trust each other to make the right plays on the defensive end has shown me what I have to continue to work on and also learn how to think the game in a better way. So I'm going against the best of the best, and this is what I've always dreamt of. And whether we win or lose, it's the growth that I look at and how I can continue to be a better leader for my teammates.
About the third row from the back on the left. Go ahead.
It's me?
Yes.
Sorry. Kyrie, when you won the championship with the Cavs, you were like the young star, and you had LeBron James, who was the more experienced star. And now you're kind of in this position, finals, that you are more experienced. And how has it been for you to, take Luka through it and take Luka actually to his first finals? How has that exchange between you guys been?
It's been great because we're learning about each other in these moments and what we're made of and what we have to do to be great at this level.
Back right, all the way in the back.
Back here, Dan Devine, Yahoo Sports, sort of along those lines. Luka is under the microscope now in a way that maybe he hasn't been before, despite having been through so many competitions since you turned pro. You've also been under these, that microscope under the hot lights. I'm just wondering, like, he's going through this big part of his journey. What are you able to tell him about what he's experiencing? How are you able to relate to him about that? Is he coming to you for anything about that? Like, what's it like seeing that happen to somebody on this stage?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of first-timers on this stage, and I've said it over the past week or so, just as a new space for me, too, just being with these guys and being tested at this level, being challenged at this level. My first finals, although I was injured, I lost. 2016, although we like to bring it up, was one of the toughest series that you'll probably ever see in basketball in general. I don't know if those records are just going to be so easy for someone just to look at and be like, yeah, we're able to do it too. But that belief should never die that you can win a series and win it together. But yeah, my message is, to him is just he's not alone in this, and he's played it as best as he can, despite the circumstances, just injuries and stuff. He's been giving it his all, so it's not all on him. And being under the microscope in this business is a lot different for me now than probably 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because I'm able to put the big picture of life in perspective, and also the game in perspective becomes easier. You know, and then also I think this social media, sociopathic behavior, you know, your inner voice is not clear anymore when you're downloading other voices and other opinions. Can become hard. So any little thing that you give your energy to can be a distraction that doesn't positively reinforce what you're trying to accomplish. So I think we're learning that about each other right now, from not only us as players, but the coaching staff and everybody that's been part of this journey thus far. No one picked us to be in this position. No one anticipated us to be here. There may be a few people in this crowd right here that knew, you know, or had an idea, but yeah, we've pretty much broken the mold of what we're capable of doing, and I think we're trending in the right direction. So we have some positives going on. It obviously sucks horrendously that we're not at least you know, competitive in this series right now, 3 games in. But it's also about getting experience and learning through these things, and also learning more about yourself. So I've taken the brunt of the responsibility, because these guys in this locker room, it is their first time. So being in this position, I do feel like a lot of it is on me. A lot of my teammates would say, no, it's not just you, which I appreciate. But this is also part of my journey, and the story doesn't end here, win or loss. And I'm just appreciative that we can get another chance to extend our series or our season tomorrow, and just leave it all out there. It's all about a pride thing now, and just putting our best foot forward.
Joe, last question here in the front.
Hey, Kyrie. Kind of a big picture question for you, just with the year that you've had, and you seem to be so comfortable playing as well as you're playing. Do you think that you have a lot left? Like, do you see yourself? I mean, you've got a new contract.
Joe, where are you going with this, man?
No, I just want to know.
Where are you going with this, brother?
I'm just asking.
Where are you
where
going?
you feel you are right now,
yeah,
and how much you have left.
Okay. Do you want to ask me that 5 years from now, or are you asking me, am I retiring early?
Hey, man, we asked LeBron that at 32.
Be direct.
We asked.
What are you asking? Oh, just how much do I have left? Or?
Yeah. Like, how much longer do you feel like you're going to be playing at this level? And
oh man, yeah, man, I haven't even given that much thought, Joe. To be honest with you, this has been the longest season I've played in a while. It's been 6 years. So I'm looking at the big picture in a way that I probably was not ready to look at when in my early 20s or late 20s. The way technology is today, the way I take care of my body every day, and the way I have the opportunity to learn more about my body as I get into my 30s, I'm appreciating. And my mind continues to get sharper. My physical tools are obviously naturally going to deteriorate, you know, which I can appreciate too. So adding new skill sets or adding new nuances to my game where I can be successful at this level, especially going against a more athletic league or a faster league. And you got me over here speaking like I'm 38 already. But yeah, at 32 right now, I just feel like the sky's the limit. And I have an opportunity to be on a special team that can be one of the teams that dominates in this era. And that's what I've been trying to figure out for the past few years, of how to be on a great team, be in an organization where I'm trusted, and also we're able to succeed and fail together, and do it in a way where you know, we still have each other's backs and no one's giving up on the dream or the goal. You know, our goal is still to win a championship. That's been number one. And for me, that's why I play basketball every year, is just to be able to continue to get better, but also to compete for championships. So if I'm not doing that at, you know, 33 or 34 or 35, then we probably can revisit this. But I think right now I feel like we're trending in the right direction, and especially this organization led by Nico and J Kidd and our new ownership group. They